Okay, it's Thursday, February 6th. I have to film in my room because my sister's working, but I'm going to make this brief. Couple of comments. My video where I put, Trump Gestapo in plain sight. Are you mentally retarded? Oh, I'm paying attention, blah, blah, blah. You cannot manage use spell check, using wrong words, pronouns, or whatever. Look up the title in your search engine. Where the hell's the other one? Oh, Trump's also using lawfare. Excuse me, the Biden administration was using lawfare to go against Trump. That's going to come up here very shortly in just a minute, but let's pause here. What is lawfare? Lawfare is using lawsuits, the legal system, to go after somebody. Pause here. What does in plain sight mean, as I used in my title? Something that is very important clues are hidden in plain sight. These people are just fucking retarded. But let's go on to the more important shit, because this is going to address this. Because people that are Trumpers or Richie from Boston or just truther fans for all these retarded sites that feed people misinfo that are completely shills or just want the money off their YouTube BitChute channel. But let's see what Pam Bondi, the brand new Attorney General, had to say about Trump and her mission, because this is very important. And in my title where I use Gestapo, I would have been better off using the Chinese president, Z, whatever, and the way he uses his troops or his people, whatever you want to call it, to go after other government and other agencies. But let's pause here. So let's see what Pam Bondi had to say and see if they're acting like Gestapo or a communist regime. Bondi issued a directive regarding zealous advocacy. Bondi said DOJ attorneys' responsibilities include aggressively enforcing criminal laws passed by Congress. Yes, but also vigorously defending presidential policies on actions on behalf of the United States against. That's not their job, to defend the president against, not if he's doing shit illegal or anti-constitutional. Of course not, but MAGA people, Trump people, they're not going to see this. The discretion afforded Justice Department attorneys with respect to those responsibilities does not include latitude to substitute their personal political views or judgments for those that prevailed in the election. Of course, anybody, anywhere, whether you're government or you're not supposed to, in jobs, try to control shit by your personal political beliefs. But how many of them people, which I'm going to say most of them, were doing just their jobs? But let's roll on. What else did you have to say here? When Justice Department attorneys refuse to faithfully carry out their role, for example, by refusing to advance good faith arguments or declining to sign briefs, well, if something's wrong with it, then you don't sign it, you don't go along with it, you argue against it and state your case. Right. It undermines a constitutional order and deprives the president of the benefit of his lawyers. Well, what if his lawyers don't want to do illegal shit? But let's move on. Bondi in the memo states that any Justice Department attorney who declines to sign a brief, refuses to advance good faith arguments on behalf of the Trump administration, or otherwise delays, impedes the Justice Department's mission will be subject to discipline and potentially termination. Get along and follow my fucking Xi Jinping, my Putin, whatever. But you get the picture. Look. You want to talk about weaponization? You want to talk about lawfare? Let's pause her. She says it right here. Bondi is set to establish the Weaponization Working Group, which will review the activities of all law enforcement agencies over the past 4 years to identify instances of politicized justice. In other words, if you speak against Trump, if you speak against this new agenda, you're going to be toast. You may not be fired, but you're going to fucking start cooperating and shut your fucking mouth. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see how a communist regime works. System of People's Congress, unitary communist state. It's all in blue right there, so you can click on them. Chinese communist based on the principle unified state power. National Peoples. This is going to be U.S. People's Congress. You get it. Anyway, let's go on. No separation of powers. Enacts unified leadership. Requires that all state organs from the Supreme Court to the President of China are elected and answerable to and have no separate powers granted. In other words, shut the fuck up. This is people just don't realize how we all see it. There's all sorts of good things going on, but people just got to see. Pause here. Okay, I played the Google game. They said just over 40,000 of these evil civil service workers have retired. The average pay is 82,000 a year, probably not counting pensions and benefits. So they did 100,000. It's just over $3 billion they saved. And if you were not in the military slash civil service long enough, you do not get any pension, no benefits whatsoever, no medical coverage. You're just out. And of course, are they going to get that, what is it, 7, 8 months pay? Probably not, just like a lot of Musk employees did not when he offered it. But let's move on here. Okay, this shit Trump just started, maybe sending in troops. They want to move everybody out of Gaza. There's roughly 2 million of Palestinians. Anyway, nobody wants them, blah, blah, blah. The U.S., Trump is not going to send in troops. The military, the personnel don't want to do it. The leaders don't want to do it. The morale is not there. And if we do anything, it'll be drones. But most of this is bullshit talk. I don't know what, I can't figure out what the long-term picture is, but they're going to figure out some way to take all that beachfront property that we currently know as Gaza. But anyway, this is just, and I can't believe the people that are not resisting this just relocate over 2 million people so you can have him build his so-called Riviera on Riviera. Plus he says, well, the rebuilding term is supposed to take 5 years. He says, well, 5 years isn't long enough, and why bring them back anyway? If we move them all out and demolish it in 5, 8, 10 years, why couldn't they still come back? It's bullshit. Okay, so instead of knocking all that shit down that's already fucking leveled over there and bring them back, we're going to send them out, keep them permanently gone, bring in condos and whatever the fuck else, build this beautiful shit on Gaza beachfront property. And the Palestinians, he said, could come back and live there, but they might have cheap housing, and they're going to be the workers. They're going to be the slave workers to rebuild all this shit and do food service and landscaping and hospitality. But let's move on. Okay, now the rest of this mostly is going to be from Richie from Boston's video. We are at Or Deagle Report makes a lot of sense. Now for starters, as I've been saying since they started doing this in the last 6, 8 months or whatever. Anyway, this year or going into last year. Oh, remember it used to be that the Deagle Report is showing 2 out of 3 Americans dead by 2025. That didn't happen, so now they have to carry it into 2025 because it's not going to fucking happen. That was all bullshit put out by the Deagle people. But anyway, these kind of people got to keep changing their mind because they know they're full of shit and they hate it when they're wrong, whether they're, again, shills in it for the money, whatever. But I'm going to pause here and let's see what some of Richie's bullshit here that applies to all of these channels, every last one of them, not just Richie. But let's pause here. Okay, he wants to show us this. Let's see what Richie has to say here and what he does not do.
Okay. Let me show you this. And now remember, I don't condone any of this. This is not from God. This is from tarot card reading. It has to be shown because
tarot cards.
Insane.
Hi everyone, I've been away for quite a while.
Okay, he's going to go into showing a video of this woman's tarot card reading. So why did he not do a Lord's Prayer to protect people from the evil demons possessing them while listening to her? Like he did just recently in a video when he prayed to show that he did the Lord's Prayer so people wouldn't get invaded and infested and possessed by demons while he was showing some sort of demonic symbols. But let's move on. Okay, let's see what I skip. This is her anyway. In the previous longer clip, you can go listen to this. She says there's going to be some sort of airplane, helicopter crash, whether civilian or military. Well, that's the only fucking 2 there are, and some rich champagne drinking person is going to be involved. I mean, but let's see what he has to say here. This is this is insanely fucking stupid.
To mess with tarot cards, specifically in the Bible, by listening to her voice and looking at her eyes, she seems to be possessed in some sort of way. But here's something else really crazy that she said.
Here are my predictions for the...
Well, if you think she's possessed, should you be listening to her and doing a video and sending out to your fellow Christian? But listen to this. This is my favorite part.
2024 presidential election. So, around the time of the election, there's going to be a high-profile death.
There's your high-profile death.
It's a young male.
Young male.
Okay, that's crazy. She said there's going to be a high-profile death right before the election, and Jimmy Carter dies right before the inauguration, which is crazy. She said it was going to be high-profile, but she said it was going to be young. So she missed the mark on that one. But
Well, if she missed the mark, then she's absolutely wrong. So why the fuck would you want to listen to her and put her one of your videos? It's up because of fear porn, especially fear porning Christians, because they're your main subscribers and supporters that are paying your salary for 10 plus years traveling in the U.S. and buying vehicles and so on and so forth. But let's pause here. There's more. Okay, brief one on what the collision between the Black Hawk and that commuter plane.
we don't only have one airplane just falling out of the sky. No big deal. This entire thing was completely and utterly targeted. This was a targeted hit. That Black Hawk.
Okay, it was targeted. So why would it be targeted? I'm going to let him speak some more first, but why would it targeted? And for people that pay attention, there are thousands of small aircraft crashing around this country every year, and they just don't make the news because they don't crash into other airplanes. But let's pause here. Okay, next short clip because Richie's establishing his bullshit alibi.
Helicopter. And then later on that day, actually we did. No, they didn't. That Black Hawk was run by AI. Straight up. DARPA already put out the information saying that they were going to be doing tests. But listen, they've had the ability to fly.
Okay, DARPA said they were going to be doing tests. Okay, test of what? Test of where? Just to tell it. DARPA is always doing tests. And okay, let me keep going. But well, let me say it now. Why the fuck would they want to drone a Black Hawk helicopter into a small aircraft? Because as Christians believe, and because these channels can put it out and these retards eat it up, they were sacrificing them people on the altar of Baal. But there's better bullshit coming up. I keep these junk emails. Pause here. Okay, now here he's going to use a piece of his butt buddy's video to explain the crash. Now I think this is maybe a minute long, but let's see the obvious bullshit they even say in this.
Right at this airliner, you can track it, and Into Thin Air caught this, which is crazy. Exactly when the transponder for the Black Hawk goes on is directly over a house that in this neighborhood, it's the only house on Google Earth that's blurred out.
Okay.
Because it's a CIA house.
It's blurred out because it's a CIA house, but let's see what they have to say here in a minute. I think it's Richie, but anyway, let's go.
The minute the plane went over the house, the transponder came on, and then it did,
How do we know the minute or the exact second that the airplane went over this house? Because it fits the Into Thin Air's video and Richie's propaganda. Come on, let's hear it from their own words.
Him say it. Check this out.
Right, everyone, welcome back. I'm sure you have heard about the Black Hawk and the American Airlines jet that crashed. I found some very weird information tying back to the Black Hawk, which is what you're seeing right here. Here's the squawk number 0125. This was labeled as PAT-25, which usually means someone important was on the helicopter. The media is saying different. Take that with a grain of salt.
Really? Well, show us how PAT, whatever it means, somebody important's on board. Don't just throw it out there, but that works. If you're an idiot, it works.
Anyway, this is exactly the point.
Yeah, but anyway.
The transponder of the Black Hawk turned on.
That's exactly the point.
Follow it from the second it turns on here. Here's part of its path. It kind of comes down this river, zigzags, and then eventually, as I'm sure many of you saw, it collides with that airplane right about here. But what's important here, and I want you to focus on this, is exactly where this transponder turned on, because this area is very significant, and I'm going to show you why right now. So The first thing I did, obviously, was go to Google Earth, and I found this exact area. And here it is right here. Here's Lawton Street. You can go back. This is also Lawton Street, and this is part of Lawton Street as well. Now look exactly where this thing turns on. Right here in between.
I want longitude and latitude of the house and the Black Hawk, but we're not going to get that because it's bullshit, but let's go.
This home and this home. Now I'm going to go right to this spot, closest to the street, right here. Here we go. Switch over to Google Earth. We'll zoom down, and this house is right here. The transponder turned on right here above these trees, and here is the kicker, my friends. When you go on Google Earth, usually you see...
Oh, I didn't catch that before, so did it switch on over the house exactly, or the trees exactly, or unexactly? Let's go. Come on, the good part's still coming up.
Most of the houses on Street View. The only house blurred out is this one. Right here, take a look at this. We're going to turn around this way. Gone. You cannot see this house from any...
Now, I'm going to take it for granted that's legit, but let's go.
Angle on Google Earth. Now, this is something you can call Google Earth and request if you have issues, privacy concerns. You can have this done. But I mean, come on.
Oh, so you can contact Google Earth and have this done for privacy issues. But, oh, come on. Believe my bullshit video. Believe my propaganda.
What are the chances of this? This is exactly where that helicopter transponder turned on and the only spot we can start.
By the way, I want more than that stupid orange line to show me exactly where that transponder came on, even if that's where it came on. But let's pause here. The fucking stupidity is insanely stupid. Pause here. Okay, let's see how easy it is to bullshit people into thinking there's some sort of conspiracy with an F-30. By the way, if people have been paying fucking attention over the years, they've had issues and military complaining about the F-35 since they came out, but let's go. And that's fact.
It stands right now, the F-35 is one of our sickest, most unbelievable jets ever. And I find it really odd that Elon points this thing out right here. And then just a couple of days before the Black Hawk took out that passenger plane, because that's what happened, this happened, oddly enough.
Oddly enough.
An F-35 is taking off, and then it just falls out of the sky. Boom! And explodes. Just falls out of the sky. And that was just 3 days ago. This was like the day before or the day of the Black Hawk taking out the airline.
So this F-35's taken off, just falls out of the sky. Human error, engine error, whatever mechanical. No, it's got to be conspiracy. Elon Musk or somebody shot it down with a direct energy weapon or a laser. This is how easy it is to twitch shit together to put forth a video and rake in your funds. But let's pause here. Okay, now here he is addressing that plane that crashed in that medical plane that crashed in Pennsylvania. So let's see what Richie has to say here.
This thing was captured from a bunch of angles. This is slowed down, mind you. This is slowed down. Look at the size of the flash. A bunch of cars caught on fire.
Exactly. Look at the look. Pay attention to the size of the flash. Let's move on.
A bunch of houses caught on fire. But look at this thing. And the funniest thing is the news comes out right away and tells us everything we need to know. 6 people died.
I was following this on the news and kept Googling it as the day and the next day went on. It was not right away. I think it was the next day before they said 6, but hours later or whatever. At first they said there was only 2 people on board. Then they went up to 6. Then they said, come on, people, God, Jesus, fucking H, let's go.
And the plane took off at exactly 6:06. Well, why would we need to know? You know, they never tell you anything you need to know, but when they tell you,
of course, they always reveal the flight ticket. What's wrong with 606? Because they want his Christian following, his Christian flock that supports him and sends him money for all these years. They don't want anything that could possibly be 666. Well, 606 is missing a fucking 6. Oh, how about all this bullshit over Walmart? It's spelled martial law. You have to twist the letters around and add a couple letters. But, I mean, come on. Walmart came out in the 40s or 60s and started out as saying, I don't remember. But anyway, but let's pause here and move on. I've got to show something else regarding these explosions. Okay, let's look up a video here of that plane crash in Pennsylvania from a dash cam that was really close. And let's see this huge explosion.
Is giving a look at the chaotic moments a small jet crashed into a Philadelphia neighborhood on Friday.
I should find another one, but the farther you get away, especially when your cameras are on night vision, when you get an explosion, the farther you are away, the brighter that flash looks. Fact, not fiction, not conspiracy theory, not government propaganda, not from a shill video channel. Fact, not fiction and bullshit. Pause here. Oh, plus another thing, I should go back and show the clips, but I think that thing had an engine fire as it was coming down, or else you would not see that orange. I don't know why that's not being made. The NTSB is fucking awesome. But anyway, go watch the Mayday channel on YouTube or wherever. Anyway, I think that thing was on fire as it was coming down, one of the engines. But let's move on here. Okay, let's get into the Deagle report and Richie's main motive for making this video.
Guys, this is an enormous false flag. This year, Deagle report, I've told you about it 1,000 times. The Deagle report.
And as they're all said, and as the Deagle report says, that's the population of the country by 2025, not end of 25, but let's move on.
Report was not wrong. This is literally happening right now. And this is no joke.
If the Deagle report population reduction in the U.S. by 2/3 by 2020, let's go to the end of 2025. How is that going to happen? Is 1/3 of Americans illegals and going to be shipped out? That might get you down. Oh, here we go. Richie's selling gold.
Joke. If you were smart, you'd get your money out of the bank right now and use Goldco.
Listen to this.
Because they'll fight with the banks. Sean Hannity endorses it. I don't know who he is, but whatever. I know he's a big time dude or whatever.
He's going to quote Sean Hannity and claim he does. Give me a break. He knows who fucking Sean Hannity is. That's because a lot of mega retards follow that retard. But let's pause here. Oh, he's addressing the Trump third term thing. Trump, last president, whatever, as I started talking about. Richie picks up on a lot of shit I talked about. I wish I could go back all through my own. I'd prove that in times past, but let's see what he has to say, or what the news has to say here.
Consecutive terms, that would be Grover Cleveland, and then, of course, President Donald Trump. And so my bill would amend the Constitution. It, of course, has to go through the ratification process, but it would allow him to serve a third term.
Anyway, the reason I believe Trump's going to be the last president, whether this is the last president ever, the world's all fucked up in 4 years, or we actually do another election, is because of this has majorly to go with the geoengineering, as I've been saying for years. But the reason I see there will not be another president after Trump is because of the fact that this new agenda, this power struggle, this side of this new world order has going on, they're not going to go through all this shit over the next 4 years. We see what's going on right now. It's fucking insane and unheard of. This is communist shit. This is Hitler shit. This is Gestapo shit. This is fucking not, what the fuck they call them people, God dang it, in Russia with the badges or what. Anyway, KGB and all that shit. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to go through all this next 4 years and let it go to either a Republican or a Democrat. But let's pause here. Okay, Richie's explaining and showing that this was supposed to be the original video, whatever, that exposed the Deagle report for 2025. So let's see what it has to say here.
U.S. and the U.K., followed by Germany and then the rest of the EU nations.
So maybe you know about this or maybe you don't, but this has been around for a long time. And back in 2014, I covered this when it was showing that America's population would be cut by 2/3. 2/3.
Oh, what does it say there? 50 to 80% of the population by 2025. This was supposed to be the original people that hacked Deagle and put this out. This actually came out. So by 2025, not by or 2026 or through 2025, but I digress. I'm going to play this short clip right now. I cannot. He's lying here. It's full of bullshit. Anyway, let me play it first.
It looks literally like a missile hitting Philadelphia. That's all it looked like. It didn't look like an airplane crash at all. That thing came down like a missile. And according to people that fly Learjets, getting it to go that fast, getting it to do that, even if you were doing it on purpose, is next to impossible. And yet, there it is.
That's an outright fucking lie, whether a dipshit here shill knows it or not, getting an airplane to go crash that fast. I've been watching the Mayday channel for years and the NTSB investigations, and I know people want to, they're all controlled. No, they're fucking not. But anyway, jets have crashed much faster than that when they get the nose to, anyway. And I'll try to catch up on some Maydays and actually catch the stats on all the facts, on that, but let's move on. Okay, I love this clip too.
Here it is. All Trump cared about when he got into office was not telling you what the drones were. Those are just enthusiasts. No, they're not. I fly drones. You see this. I fly drones.
Yes, we do.
And I fly drones near military bases way too often. And guess what happens? They get taken down before they get anywhere close to it.
Okay, he's repeated that quite often. Flying drones near military bases, they got taken down. Well, let's see the footage you have filming from that drone before it got taken down. But of course, that'll never happen because he's fucking lying. He's fucking full of bullshit. Just like when he did that $25,000 GoFundMe because his Jeep was broken into and they stole a laptop and all his gold and silver that he was donating to somebody in need.
It's built into the sauce, okay? It's not enthusiast.
Okay, let me pause here. Okay, we're going to finish up with Richie's end of video fear porn. Let's go. Oh, and when this doesn't happen, none of his people will question him whatsoever. It'll be gone, forgot, all is forgiven. You're Richie, you're Never Lose Truth, you're the Crowfoot guy, you're High Impact, you're Joe Rogan, you're all forgiven. I love you.
One more thing I wanted to show you that they're prepping everybody for. 2 hours ago, massive 1 mile long volcano off the west coast could blow. 14 hours ago, huge undersea west coast volcano. 3 days ago, mile-long underwater volcano. 2 days ago, sleeping volcanoes. Oregon, subsea volcano.
Okay, from days older days older articles to more recent ones as other channels or, news sites pick it up. Nothing fantastical there.
Volcano. Can science predict when it will erupt? That was 29 days ago.
20?
Well, they're just straight
Really?
up.
29 days ago to 2 days ago? We're straight up. Let's see what he says here. Oops.
Telling you right now that this is what's going to happen. They're going to set this thing off. And
Okay, he just said he told us this is going to happen. Another one of Richie's guarantees, the end of the world during the eclipse. Trump's never going to make it in office, and there was a couple other in between, but of course, forgive and forget and send Richie your money. Oh man, people are fucking sheep.
And what really bums me out is HARP up in Alaska as of
Okay, more heart, Bob. I think that might be it. Let me pause. I got to finish up with something I already said. Just finish up with these 3 screenshots again for the mega retarded people. Bondi, the new attorney general, going to go after anybody that resists the new agenda. I'm not going to read through it again. You're going to lose your job, maybe get fired or reprimand. This is to shut. They will fire. I guarantee you, there's going to be FBI agents fired. But this is to shut people up in the future and to not resist the new agenda. Deprives a president of benefit of his lawyers. Department's mission to discipline. Potentially firing. You get the picture, people. This is we're going into a new realm completely whatsoever in this country, and people need to wake up and see it. At the same time, like I've been saying for years, it's pretty much irrelevant because we've all been pussified, we've all been wussified, we've all been trained not to fight, we've all been. What the fuck have I been saying? For years since I started bitching. God damn it. The government's secret weapon. We've all been turned into preppers. Prep to run and hide. Don't fight. Don't do nothing. Come out after the ashes are falling, all that shit, and go out and look for your raccoons or whatever and feed on your next door neighbors if you have to do cannibalism. But we're so fucking stupid.